The Supreme Court hands President Donald Trump a procedural win on mail-in voting.
Justices lifted a formal stop on his executive order that would restrict mail-in ballots handled by the U.S. Postal Service. Tonight we have team coverage. John Grinvalds is looking at how this impacts you.
But first, Washington correspondent Amy Liu reports on what this means ahead of the November election. Amy?
With November now just weeks away, elections experts say that it's very unlikely that the Supreme Court's ruling means much for voters in the upcoming midterms. The latest legal battle over mail-in voting could disrupt the way roughly a third of all voters in the U.S. cast their ballots, according to our Get the Facts data team. On Monday, the Supreme Court ruled to lift one major roadblock on President Trump's executive order restricting mail-in voting. The move would force states to redesign ballot envelopes just days before the first ballots for midterms are set to go out.
That's going to be hard to do for this November because envelopes have already been bought. You can't just go to Staples and get 1 million or 5 million or 10 million envelopes that are marked in the right way.
But USPS can't act quite yet. A separate lawsuit from groups like the ACLU challenges another part of that order, requiring the Postal Service to only deliver ballots to states that verify lists of eligible voters, setting the Supreme Court up, experts say, for a larger legal battle on election law.
As of now, nothing's changed. It's possible something could change in a few weeks, but most people who get a ballot in the mail are likely to still get that ballot in the mail.
Experts say that this will set the stage for a big constitutional battle over federalism, essentially forcing the Supreme Court to decide whether the president's executive order can overhaul state-run elections. Reporting in Washington, I'm Amy Liu, KETV News Watch 7.
Here in Nebraska, anywhere between 25 and 35% of residents vote by mail.
Some worry what more federal influence in the election process could do. So we're digging into how the shakeup could impact casting a ballot in November. KETV News Watch 7's Capitol Bureau Chief John Grinvalds reports from Lincoln. John?
Nebraska has 11 counties that conduct elections completely by mail, and those western counties have seen a spike in turnout recently. It's a testament to how widespread mail-in voting is across the state. And some election experts say despite this executive order and this recent decision, that's not going to change anytime soon.
This decision really doesn't change what Nebraskans can expect in November. Now, things could happen between now and then that might change the perspective on that.
Common Cause Nebraska has sparred with Secretary of State Bob Evnen in the past, attempting to stop him from turning over voter data to the feds. It was an effort to halt the very same federal election influence the group's director, Gavin Geis, sees in President Trump's executive order.
Giving over those lists is feeding into this narrative that the federal government should control this system, when it's clearly the state's role and the state's right, and the federal government has no role to play in it.
Geis says he's worried about this Supreme Court decision allowing rulemaking that could restrict mail-in voting down the line, but that it's likely too late to roll it out here this year.
The rules aren't ready. The process is really it's not possible to put it in place in the way they've even laid it out.
Evnen was not available to talk in person on Tuesday, but he shared a statement with KETV saying, quote, "We are evaluating the decision and its applicability in light of other litigation that's going on right now across the country." Evnen turned over the voter data earlier this year, but Common Cause is still seeking to block the feds from being able to use it. Geis says he expects more rulings soon. Reporting in Lincoln, John Grinvalds, KETV News Watch 7.